We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a bit of news and rumors surrounding one half of the current Raw Tag Team Champions, AJ Styles, and more so AJ Styles' plans for retirement and an update on his status in WWE. Now, for those of you unaware, a number of years back, AJ Styles had stated that he had planned to retire by the time he reached 40 years old, and considering AJ Styles is currently 44 years of age, AJ has not stuck to his original plan, and is instead continuing to wrestle long past his planned original retirement date. However, AJ's run in WWE has went a lot better than AJ Styles had expected or anticipated, and it's hard to blame AJ for continuing to wrestle in WWE when he is making good money and also racking up lots of championships to his already impressive resume in wrestling. With that being said, AJ Styles has made it clear that his days as an active in-ring competitor in WWE are nearing their end, as AJ is fully aware that with his high-flying style of wrestling, as he gets older, his performances will dwindle, and Styles has no plans of wrestling anymore once it's noticeable that his ability in the ring is getting more limited. And apparently, AJ Styles is beginning to feel like he should be considering retirement within the next couple of years. And AJ also mentioned that the WWE contract that he had signed back in 2020 will be the last one he signs, and does not plan to continue wrestling in WWE or elsewhere once this current deal with WWE expires. Now, with the new rumors going around that AJ Styles' wrestling career may be starting to wind down in the not so distant future, lots of fans have pointed out that they feel WWE should make the most of the time they have with AJ Styles on the roster, and that WWE should once again be pushing the talented AJ Styles back into the main event title picture, whether on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, if Styles was moved over to the blue brand during the 2021 WWE Draft. And that WWE should be finishing up the whole AJ Styles and Omos storyline as soon as possible, and let AJ Styles return to being a singles competitor, as these fans feel as though WWE are wasting AJ's last bit of time in the tag team division with Omos. The general consensus among fans is that AJ Styles should part ways with Omos sometime in the near future, and perhaps have a short feud against Omos, in which AJ Styles wins, and then have AJ return to the main event title picture. However, things may not be so simple when it comes to AJ Styles and Omos, because Vince McMahon is reportedly a big supporter of Omos, and if WWE were to split up Styles and the monstrous big man, there's a good chance that Omos would be the one defeating AJ Styles and moving up the card, with Styles likely being relegated to the mid-card title scene, considering Vince is apparently not the most interested in pushing AJ Styles back to world title contention again, seeing as though AJ Styles will be retiring sooner rather than later, and would instead like to push someone like Omos, who is going to be in WWE for quite a long time and has a long career ahead of him at 27 years of age. Regardless, let us know your thoughts on the speculation that AJ Styles has signed his final contract with WWE and will be retiring in the relatively near future. And do you feel that AJ Styles should continue being a part of the tag team division alongside Omos for the rest of his career in WWE, or split up from Omos and potentially have another world title reign before retirement? New details are starting to become available regarding the real reasons for Braun Strowman being suddenly and shockingly released from WWE back in the beginning of June 2021. And by all means, some of these apparent reasons are a bit surprising. According to one of our sources, the first and foremost reason why WWE decided to release Braun Strowman was because of his hefty 7-figure contract that Vince McMahon was beginning to feel Braun was not worth, because for those of you unaware, prior to his release, Braun was signed to a deal with WWE that would see him earn in the area of $1.2 million per year guaranteed, plus merchandise and other bonuses. And WWE officials apparently felt like Braun Strowman really was not worth that amount of money anymore, considering WWE reportedly do not have any intentions or plans of pushing Braun Strowman to the top of the card where he would be having another World Championship run. And instead, Braun was simply going to be positioned in WWE as an upper mid-card big man superstar like The Big Show moving forward, and that 7-figure contract was simply too much money in WWE's opinion. However, the second reason for Braun's release is a tad surprising, because according to Dave Meltzer of The Wrestling Observer, the other main reason why WWE released Braun Strowman from his contract is because Vince McMahon is currently planning big pushes for 3 other big man superstars in WWE, with 2 of these big man wrestlers working for the Raw brand currently, with the first of these three giants being Amos, who we had just been talking about, as WWE apparently see Amos as having the potential to do some big things in WWE, and is learning at a very quick pace while he's working alongside AJ Styles, which was not surprisingly the WWE's plan all along, as McMahon feels AJ Styles can show Amos the ropes and get him ready for that big singles push in the near future. The second giant WWE feel can basically replace Braun Strowman is Shanky Singh, otherwise known as Dilsher Shanky, who is currently working alongside Veer as the henchman for the former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. Apparently, Vince McMahon sees absolutely huge potential in Shanky and feels he can basically be this generation's version of the Great Khali, only better, as the consensus behind the scenes is that Shanky is much more gifted inside the squared circle and can wrestle much better than Khali could back in the day. And not surprisingly, once Shanky gets a bit more experience after working with Veer and Jinder Mahal, fans can expect for Shanky to get quite a big push to help increase the WWE's reach in India, which has been a goal of Vince McMahon for quite some time. Lastly, the third giant Vince plans to push and was partly the reason for Braun Strowman's release from WWE is Commander Aziz over on Friday Night SmackDown, who is currently working with the Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews and is gaining lots of invaluable experience from Crews. Apparently, with these three new giants in WWE getting ready to make a big impact in the coming years, Vince McMahon felt like Braun Strowman's best days in WWE were simply behind him, and that it just did not make much sense to be paying a superstar like Braun Strowman 7 figures every single year, when he's just going to be mainly featured as a mid-card level talent. Let us know your thoughts and opinions on these new reasons coming out as to why WWE decided to release the monster among men, Braun Strowman. And besides the money factor, do you agree with WWE that they don't need Braun Strowman anymore, and that those three giants, Commander Aziz, Shanky, and Amos, can basically replace Braun Strowman? Or do you feel that it was a mistake for WWE to release Braun Strowman, and that none of these three big man superstars mentioned above have what it takes to replace Braun Strowman? The Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event is fast approaching, and as many of you are likely aware, there are lots of new rumors and speculation regarding who Vince McMahon and WWE plan to win the 2021 men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. However, if a shocking new backstage rumor proves to be true, there may be a big spoiler when it comes to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match this year, and who will be winning that coveted Money in the Bank briefcase in 2021 to guarantee themselves a massive WWE or Universal Championship opportunity. This new rumor states that Seth Rollins, who has not officially been added into the Money in the Bank ladder match yet, is reportedly the front-runner to win the 2021 men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and win the briefcase and contract, with the rumored plan here being that Seth Rollins will be defeating Cesaro this coming week on SmackDown in the Money in the Bank qualifying match, and then go on to win that huge Money in the Bank contract later this month. Now, if these rumors of Seth Rollins winning the 2021 Money in the Bank contract are true, the big rumored surprise or plan is that Seth Rollins would win the briefcase and then cash it in later on in the night on Roman Reigns, after the Tribal Chief defends his Universal Championship against the Rated R superstar Edge. And like we had mentioned before, there was some speculation that Seth Rollins could be costing Edge the Universal title match against Roman Reigns, and this still could be happening, although Seth Rollins will likely be shockingly turning on Roman Reigns right after the match ends when Roman's caught off guard, as Seth would have helped Reigns retain his championship against Edge, but immediately afterwards when it would seem like Seth and Roman are going to realign with each other, Seth Rollins would then attack Roman Reigns and cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase and contract successfully, and win the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns to create a shock title change at Money in the Bank 2021, which would then lead to a huge triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Edge, and Seth Rollins for the Universal title at SummerSlam 2021. As some of you are likely aware, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Jack Swagger, now known as Jake Hager, has since signed with the competition AEW All Elite Wrestling, but on the side, Jake Hager is pursuing a career in mixed martial arts, where he so far has an undefeated record of 3-0 performing for Bellator MMA in their heavyweight division. However, like many of you would expect, Jake Hager's level of competition in Bellator has been roughly the skill level of Jake Hager aka Jack Swagger, who just started training MMA a couple of years ago. So by all means, Hager is not fighting the best heavyweight competition that MMA has to offer. However, with that said, it looks like Jake Hager wants a big step up in competition when it comes to his mixed martial arts career, because in a recent interview, Jake called out MMA legend Fedor Emilianenko, with Hager claiming that while his skill level is not on the same level as Fedor, he has big name value, and that he wants a challenge of taking down one of the all-time greats in Fedor, who, for those of you unaware, is going to be returning for a fight in October 2021, and Bellator is currently looking for an opponent for the Last Emperor. Now, not surprisingly, Jake Hager's comments about wanting to fight Fedor garnered a pretty negative reaction from fans, with most claiming that Fedor Emelianenko would absolutely destroy Jake Hager in a mixed martial arts fight, despite the fact that Fedor is no longer in his prime, and that Jake Hager does not deserve such a big fight after only having 3 fights against very low level competition.